Just look at this humongous cave that I found underground. And I got tons of diamonds as well. Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, I had to do a lot of mining off camera because I was needing a lot of Lapis Lazuli for my castle that I'm going to build in today's episode. But look, down there is even an ancient city. And this cave is just huge. Seriously, one of the bigger caves that I found. It goes on for ages. I definitely want to do an underground build, maybe a dwarven build or a goblin build, something like that. And look at that. That is a proper ancient city. It is huge. I've already visited one before in the past, but just look how enormous this cave is. It is seriously massive. I'm definitely going to have to come back, light it up, and do some kind of build. You can even see the sky. But yeah, I just wanted to show this clip because it is seriously cool. I also found some rare ores like stone diamond and deep slate coal, and I even found some deep slate emerald ore, 2 of them in fact. So if you're wondering why I'm so rich in diamonds, because now I have over a stack of diamond blocks, that is why. And I might even try to make a diamond beacon, although I know that netherite beacons are now the new trend, and maybe someday I'll try to do that as well. I also found a couple more dungeons, but I don't really need them because I already have a mob farm. The loot was okay, although the best thing I got were some name tags and a mending book, which is actually very rare to find in vanilla structures. Welcome back after the mining montage. I hope you enjoyed it. We are now back at the starter village that we transformed in the previous episode, so let the building begin. As you can see, I have used some cobblestone to make a simple outline in the shape that I want the castle and the towers to be at. And then I got started using some deep slate for the outer frame of the castle. I originally wanted to use replay mod when building this castle. Unfortunately, I could not figure out how to use it just yet, and the renders do take a long time. However, I did install a mod called FreeCam, which is basically using the vanilla spectator mode, and I also use spectator mode as well to give some nice cinematic shots of my progress. Because as you can see, I've now added some pillars using basalt, and this is where I was originally going to make some towers. However, I then decided that I had too many towers, so I wanted to incorporate them into the wall. It would help to break up the deep slate, and I would fill in the deep slate with tuff. So now you can see a nice aerial shot of the castle. I used some stone brick walls for the towers, and I used some tough brick walls for the rest of the walls. The reason why I used wall blocks instead of regular blocks was because I made the castle walls not wide enough to put them behind the pillars, and so this would help to add some depth to the build. Now that the castle walls are completed, I wanted to use FreeCam to give you an easier view of the build so far. It is finally looking like a castle, and I took a bit of inspiration from Norman castles, although of course it ended up having a much more fantasy-esque twist. And of course right now the castle is floating off the ground, so I would have to do something about that by building some retaining walls to support the structure. Now I just used some stone bricks to make the retaining wall, and I would use deep slate and basalt pillars. In the future I will definitely try to learn how to use replay mod, because I wanted to give you a proper time-lapse, a third-person time-lapse of building the castle, but sadly it was not meant to be. Also, my computer is a lot older, just an RX 580, so I'm not sure if it could even handle replay mod, because that requires rendering of the replay footage, and that could be very demanding on your computer and take a lot of time as well. Now you can see that I am once again showing you the completed walls. I have also built some castle walls and actual defendable towers using some crenellations. I also built a gatehouse, and I just started using some Lapis Lazuli blocks for the roof, because I wanted the castle to have a blue roof, because the name of this fortress is called the Azure Citadel. Our village is called Azure Glade, so the castle is only fitting to be called the Azure Citadel. I did want to make this castle symmetrical with the outer wall surrounding the keep. However, then I would have to chop down the whole forest, and there's not much room behind the castle. So I ended up going with this rather unique angular design, and in here there will be a courtyard and garden and a fountain. And later I also added a wizard tower. So the castle is coming along very nicely indeed. However, soon I would run into a bottleneck. I started to run out of Lapis Lazuli that I mined, so I thought it would be a smart idea to get some from clerics. And now that I had an iron farm, I wanted to make use of that to trade with them, and so I decided to breed them up and cure them, because then you can get really good rates after turning them into a zombie villager and curing them. However, I made a foolish decision to not wear my chestplate, and well, you can see what happens.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
That's right, I died, and that was not the only time I would die. I died several times and got stuck in a death loop, which was quite frustrating. So I decided that a much more efficient way is to make a villager breeder and a villager trading hall. I was postponing it and putting it off, but now I realized that I needed it badly, because it was one way to get Lapis Lazuli from cleric villagers, and in order to get tons of Lapis you need tons of clerics, because each time they only trade you 12 Lapis Lazuli for 1 emerald, I think, or something like that. So it is a pretty good deal, but it takes a lot of villagers and a very long time to get any amount of Lapis if you want to build with it. Of course, it probably would have been easier to just mine it, and I did do a ton of strip mining, and I even set up a beacon in a nearby mesa and mined that way, so I ended up getting quite a bit of gold as well. However, I decided that this would be another way that I could also get Lapis, because yeah, I just thought it might be easier, but I ended up doing both strip mining and villager trading. And in the end, I would also use blue concrete and some terracotta, because I would not get enough Lapis Lazuli for the whole roof, because this castle got very big indeed. So now the villagers are in place, and they have been breeding and trading crops with each other, so I could begin my corporate agenda and start a monopoly on the emerald industry. Villager trading hall after the castle is already completed. As you can see, the villagers are in this little chamber, and the minecarts take them to where I want to trade with them. I unlocked some armorers and toolsmiths so that I could trade iron for emeralds and then trade the emeralds for lapis. And I also traded some bottles of enchanting. I used this zombie to turn them into zombie villagers. Then I made some splash potions of weakness and cured them so that I could get the good trades. This is just a temporary trading hall. I will also get the librarians and other villagers, and I will put them probably in the castle or maybe in a different trading hall somewhere else. Now I finally decided to get started on the towers, and as you can see, I've started using some Lapis Lazuli for the roofs, and I've also mixed in some blue concrete to add a little bit of texture. And here I'm adding some rooms on the towers with some calcite, and I would also end up using calcite for the walls of the keep itself as well. Since I could not make a third-person time-lapse, I did manage to make a time-lapse using spectator mode and freecam, so enjoy this cinematic footage of the different stages of the castle's completion. I hope you enjoyed that cinematic footage. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any ideas for the castle, of course do let me know. I might add some texturing to the walls and towers and everything, but this is the final product, as you can see, and the inside is very empty. There's nothing in there, it's just a hollow shell right now. Behind me you can see the walls and the wizard tower, and I made a little fountain, but in this grassy area in the courtyard I do plan to put some more structures like stables and a gardens and a maze, because the palace gardens would often be quite expansive. There you could get a good look at the wizard tower, and the castle in the sky and the village. The castle in the sky looks very tiny compared to this new mega build now. I did try to make the roof slightly different because it's the wizard tower, so I wanted it to be slightly magical, so that's why I made a crystal floating above it, and this is also why I used some very vibrant purple stained glass instead of like other materials. And I also wanted to tie it to the village, so that's why I incorporated some copper blocks, because we didn't use a lot of that in the castle, and it also matches the village. And now you can get a closer up view of the castle, which is currently under siege by some pillagers. So I will take out their captain and get the cursed bottle from them, but I will quickly fly away before I die again in my very own castle. I do need to light up the place so that mobs don't spawn, but yeah, that's kind of funny that after I finally finished building the castle, it's already been invaded. But now you can see that it is linked up to the village by this bridge, but I do want to change the bridge and connect it up properly. I might also add a drawbridge, or just a slightly different one, because as you can see there's no stairs leading up to the portcullis, and the bridge is on the same level as the portcullis, so I could simply extend it And I'm also not entirely happy with the gatehouse. It seems a bit too small compared to the rest of the castle, so I definitely need to change that. I might replicate it and make it similar to that building that I'm showing you now. And in case you're wondering how I'm doing this zooming feature, it's not a vanilla function, unfortunately. I did have to install a couple of mods because I wanted to learn how to make third-person time lapses. So I installed a mod that let me zoom, not Optifine, but something else, just a different mod. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, I will be experimenting with various recording mods because there are some that work a bit differently to Replay Mod, and they do let you make third-person cutscenes, but they don't take time of day into account or things, or certain things. But now you can see the inside of the castle, and as you can see, it is very unfinished. We've got a bunch of empty walls that I need to put some stone and some tough bricks there. And there's still a bunch of grass, and I did try to light some of it up, but I do need to add a proper floor. Some Endermen have been busy. I tried to install a data pack that prevented them from picking up blocks, but it's not working properly. And I did make a ceiling, which is the floor of the second floor, or rather, should I say the first floor, because that was the ground floor. And this second gatehouse is also empty, as is this building here. And I purposefully left some walls blank because it is much easier to make things like a throne or furniture or beds when there's not too many windows. And I might change the oak fences for glass or some other block, I'm not too sure, and I'll definitely add some ceiling lighting like chandeliers. I used terracotta for that part of the ceiling of the walls. And in case you're wondering how I got so much calcite, because it is a lot of calcite, I got it from the savanna biome in the previous episodes. Here you can get a better view of the roof. I used some more terracotta and blue concrete because the Lapis Lazuli was too expensive to get a lot of it. It already cost a lot just to get for the towers, ironically enough. And I used more calcite for this second building up here. But I really like how this roof turned out because this castle is called the Azure Citadel, so I wanted it to have a very blue theme to match the ocean, because this is a coastal town. And now, as I fly around, you can see the second story, well, this top building, which will be the royal residency, like the bedroom basically. And this tower in the middle actually has a name because it's inspired by medieval architecture. Here is a last view of the castle from the outside and the wizard tower of the court wizard. I am quite happy with how it turned out. Again, I'm not too happy with the gatehouse, and of course I might be adding a drawbridge and other things, and I do need to add some more wind arrow holes to the walls and the towers and things like that. I will definitely be adding gardens and stables and a few other buildings, but yeah, it's a really cool castle and a lot bigger than I anticipated. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any other ideas to improve the castle as well. I also wanted to thank you for the very positive reception to the last episode, and for all of the views and comments and everything and the likes. I really appreciate that people are watching and enjoying this episode. It means a lot to me that you like it, and I hope you like this one and future episodes. Definitely subscribe if you're new, because we will be building an interior to the castle, lots of different rooms, servants' quarters for the guards, and things like a ballroom and great hall and a throne room. So stick around, I've got a lot of plans. But that's all the time we have for today's episode. Do let me know what you think of the castle and if you have any ideas for future builds. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends or family or anyone interested in Minecraft. Hope you have a good day, or night wherever you are. Stay safe. Thanks for watching.